11.5 GP rifle. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the gun closet. And it's tiny, but it'll do. So that's what she said, first off. Second off, what's up, everybody? Quick pause to the video. I just wanted to say that this entire video, all the footage of this, all the range footage, everything was filmed and edited almost a year and a half ago at this point, and I just completely forgot to upload it. So a lot of my opinions are a little bit different now. I've grown in the 2A kind of journey, if you will. And so things have changed quite a bit. I also don't have as much structure in this video as I do now. And so I kind of ramble on for a while. So it may get boring. Totally understand. I get it. I thought it'd just be fun to post the video that I edited forever ago for y'all to, enjoy, view, and critique me on. Also, the rifle has changed significantly. So this is what the rifle looks like now. Here, I'll show you. Very, very different. Kind of a whole different color scheme, and everything's different. So if there's anything on this rifle that looks interesting to you, I will be having a range review coming out with that rifle soon. If there's anything in particular you want me to talk about, please let me know in the comments. But otherwise, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It's kind of weird, but maybe that's what you're into. Like it or else. Okay, let's just got the hard way and the easy way. Okay, that button's right there. Just go ahead and it's right there. Just give it a little, you know what I mean? A little, all right? All right. I'll see you next time. It'll do. So I wanted to do this portion of the video outside at the range like I had planned on. A lot of the B-roll that you'll be seeing I took out there. But if I'm honest, I just talked way too long about this rifle. And at the end of the day, it just didn't seem entertaining. At the end of the day, it's just an AR-15, and you can't, you can only get so deep when it comes to an AR-15. But regardless, I wanted to go over my 11.5 BCM. This is my GP rifle, is what I'm calling it. GP stands for general purpose, if you don't know. Kind of the mindset I had when I built this rifle and decided to put it together the way that I have is I wanted something longer. I thought about going with a 14.5 pin and weld or a 13.7 pin and weld to kind of circumvent some of the ATF tax stamp stuff, the brace stock thing. But I really, really, really wanted the shortest package possible without going too short, sacrificing a lot of velocity, just to keep the gun kind of compact, because I knew this whole build was going to be predicated on the point that I was going to have it suppressed. I was going to get my first suppressor, which is this one right here. So I specifically bought this upper assembly for suppression. I bought the lower for, to be ambidextrous. I bought a low back pressure can, all that kind of stuff. I wanted it to be a dedicated suppressor optimized build, and that's what I have here. So starting from tip to butt, I will kind of go through everything on the rifle, and I'll try and keep it relatively concise. I just wanted to give a brief introduction of me and kind of let you guys feel me out as far as a content creator, someone that you hopefully would like to subscribe and follow. I'm making a bunch more videos, gun reviews, maybe political videos, stuff like that. I just really am passionate about this stuff. I love it. I'm a consumer of a lot of the content that you guys probably also watch. Demolition Ranch, Brandon Herrera, Administrative Results, Grand Thumb, all those guys. I'm a big fan of all those guys, and I appreciate what they do, for the 2A community as well. So I'd like to get in on that action. This is a shorter rifle, and the reason why I did that is because I live in a more suburban area, unfortunately for now, and I really don't ever see myself ever getting into a situation where I'll need to shoot more than about maybe 200 yards max. A lot of what this rifle does as a general purpose rifle is cater to my immediate surroundings. So I have a smaller apartment. We live in a apartment complex with, fairly, close corners and short distances, not many long hallways and passageways, things like that. And I really wanted something that was really small, very compact, even with the full-size can on it, that I could, have a little bit more wieldy, a little bit more lightweight. Sometimes this rifle goes in my truck with me, and so it's easier to store and manage in the front seat when it's shorter. But because of that, you do, take some sacrifices when it comes to velocity. In the example of I think it's the Mark 18 from Daniel Defense, super gassy, for an AR-15, very violent recoil. This one, again, I built for suppression, I built for high gas, and so it is incredibly smooth shooting, but I've been really loving it. So starting from the front of the rifle, we'll go tip to butt or tip to taint, however you like it. And this is the Silencer Co. LBP. This is their low back pressure can. This can is awesome. It is, of course, my first one, so I'm biased, but for low back pressure cans, that was a mandatory thing for me. It had to be low back pressure. It had to be flow through, if you want to call it that, just because running in a shorter package, you're going to have more gas, and I just don't want gas. Just like recoil, if I can have none of it, I don't want it. This can in particular is extremely durable. This is on Silencer Co.'s website, they call this their most durable can. It's a hard use can, full auto rated. This particular one is the 5.56 dedicated version. They have a 7.62 by 39, and I think they also have a K version, which is shorter. I wish I would have waited to buy that one, but it wasn't out at the time when I ordered this one, so kind of got the short end of the stick on that one, or the long end. But this can is awesome. It's I believe it's about 15.9 ounces, so it's definitely a hard use can. It is not light, not the heaviest can in the world, but for a flow through can, a full size flow through can, it's pretty handy. But it's got a little chunk to it for sure. But I have been very pleased with it. I can shoot it with no ears on, and it is totally hearing safe in my opinion. It comes with the factory ASR mount on the back, which is the Silencer Co. ASR Charlie system. And speaking of the mounting system, this is the muzzle device that I have on it. This is Silencer Co.'s 3-chamber muzzle brake. Let's see if I can get this thing to focus on it. There you go. So this is the Silencer Co. 3-chamber muzzle brake ASR mount. Awesome brake. Reduces recoil significantly. However, even though this is, a shorter rifle, and I have it, optimized for suppression, the fact is, shorter rifles with brakes on them, even longer rifles, are concussive. And this sucker without a can on it, it is rough. Totally manageable, of course, if you want to, but if I could choose to not deal with all that concussion and everything, I wouldn't. But incredibly flat shooting. I have this on the end of the barrel right now because I've heard there are some benefits to running a brake on the inside of a suppressor versus a flash hider, because I also have the 3-prong flash hider from Silencer Co. as well, which is an incredible flash hider. Even on an 11.5, when I had it installed, no flash at all. It was excellent. Did a great job. Moving back from there, my kind of lighting setup right now is this Surefire Scout Pro Turbo. I believe it's the M640 DFT is like the model number. Basically, this is kind of the hotness right now when it comes to Surefire's high candela lights. Similar to the Scout, the original Scout in dimensions, but it is a full-size light and it has full-size candela. This sucker throws light so far. I absolutely love it. I really wanted a high candela light. It also has spill as well, but it really focuses more on candela. When you're inside, some people get upset about that with a high candela. I think you have more flood when you're inside. This light is so bright that just the hot spot illuminates the whole room anyway, and so I really didn't. I had no concerns about that. Surefire, it's been great. Surefire is always going to be great. I have a couple gripes with them in a few different unrelated ways, but as far as their products go, they're bulletproof. They're awesome. Military contracts, well, military contract. But it's been an excellent light so far. It's full size, a little bit large for an 11.5 in my opinion. I thought about going with the shorter one, but for now we got the full size. So on the front of it, I am running the 100 Concepts light cap. This one is the older version. They have a newer version now, but this is the generation before. I have been super pleased with this thing. This is such a elegant, simple solution to protecting your light. So it kind of works dual purpose. This will protect the light from a little bit of the concussion from the muzzle brake, I'm assuming, as well as a lot of the carbon buildup you get when you shoot. You know, if you ever had a pistol light, your pistol gets all fouled up, the light gets a little bit, you think it's dimmer, the battery's dying, but really it's just covered in black soot. That keeps that from happening. But also, as the main purpose is, this is a really great way to totally eliminate negligent discharges of your light. So, you know, say you were rucking or you're hiking, or you know, you're in, you know, someone breaks in your house, you don't know that you're there, but you're, you know, trying to find them or whatever, this will keep you from, you know, shining your light and then them seeing you before you want them to see you. But in my case, I'm not, I don't ruck with my gun very often. Unfortunately, here in Texas, there's not many places you can do that. But it's just been a really great way to kind of preserve that light, the light head, and prevent those accidental discharges. I also have, my activation system is a little bit different than some people's. This is the Valhalla Tactical, I believe it's called the Omni Cap. This is a omnidirectional dongle that no matter which way you push it, it will activate the light. So I'll take this off so you can kind of see the light shade changing there. So no matter where I push it, in, out, up, down, I mean, wiggle it all around, whatever you want to do. This is the coolest little thing ever. They're super affordable. They install on the back of the factory, the clicky cap that comes with the Surefires. Super easy install, super elegant, very small footprint, but man, is it effective. It's perfect. When I'm pushing out, I just lay my finger right on it, boom, it's on, just like that. And it's like the perfect spot. It's not even, there's nothing to it. I can't even explain it even more. It literally is just perfect. If you want to kind of push into it, grab the rail, push forward, it's on. But the one downside that I have experienced with this, or I could think of, is that because it's such an easy way to activate the light, again, if you were hiking, rucking, something like that, you could ND this pretty easily by hitting on gear, kit, sticks, leaves, whatever, tree branches, whatnot. And so this light cap would come in handy in that case. But this is an excellent way to have light activation on demand, momentary only, and not have to worry about having wires, more weight, pressure pads, things getting in the way, especially if you run like, if you don't want constant on, if you just want momentary. I just want momentary. If I wanted constant on, I would run the, I think it's the DS07 Surefire tail cap with the constant on button and then the lead that goes to a pressure pad. But of course, if you're running, you know, lambs and things like that, you may have to run a lead anyway. But regardless, this is an excellent little product is when it comes to, you know, activating your white light. So absolutely love that. Next up on the front of the rifle, we have the ScalarWorks front iron sight post, fixed iron sight post. Love ScalarWorks stuff. I love their mounts. I love their front iron sights. I love everything. ScalarWorks makes awesome stuff. It's always great quality. No gripes whatsoever. Super lightweight. The detents and the adjustments are all super precise and very tactile. It's the hardware's great. Everything about them is awesome. They are expensive for iron sights, but I happened to find this one on a good deal, and so I picked it up. And the reason why I have it on there, I don't necessarily think that iron sights are 100% necessary all the time anymore, but this Unity riser happens to have a rear sight aperture inside of it, and so I thought I might as well have it if I'm gonna, you know, I might as well. The weight cost is not something that's gonna put me over the edge to where I don't want to have a backup redundant sighting system. So a lot of fun, very cool, and I think the look of it looks nice. It kind of balances out the rifle. But as we go back on the handguard, I have some rail scales on there. Those are just some really grippy G10 M-Lock panels, super aggressive. I don't know if you can hear that. Those suckers are very aggressive. They will hold your hand there for sure and never let it go. I like those a lot. I have on the bottom of the M-Lock, I have the Emissary Development handbrake. They have a smaller version. I have the larger version as of now. Great handbrake. I believe it's some sort of polymer, you know, either 3D printed or, you know, injection molded polymer piece. Very strong, super robust. I've used it as a barricade stop quite a few times. I've never had issues with it. It just goes right on, holds it there, kind of has a little shelf here that, you know, cradles whatever you're putting up against. It's been wonderful, and it's very comfortable as well. No hard edges, but enough to really give you a good spot to put your hand and push out. So, been loving that. As you go back to what is inside this handguard, this is the BCM 11.5 cold hammer forged barrel. It is not government profile, but it's also not a lightweight barrel. It's, I guess it would be just like a standard profile. I thought about going with a lightweight, but at least BCM doesn't make a lightweight cold hammer forged barrel. You kind of have to choose one or the other, and in this case I decided to have kind of the longevity and the robustness of a cold hammer forged barrel instead of the lightweight of a, you know, thinner profile. Maybe if I build this one out, I'll switch over and get a lightweight and see how that's like, but as of right now, got the cold hammer forged. I believe it's a chrome molybdenum with a chrome bore and chamber. That's part of, you know, their cold hammer forging barrels that also come with that as well. Supremely accurate, very durable. It's awesome barrel. I mean, BCM makes incredible stuff. They don't advertise as much as some of the other, how do I say, popular brands, but I would argue that they make comparable products as those other companies for less money, and in this case actually give you a lot more features than they do as well. So moving back from the handguard and the barrel, this is kind of the star of the show when it comes to this rifle, and the reason why I call it a suppressor optimized build is this upper receiver. This is BCM's Mark II upper receiver. I bought this whole thing as one complete unit. However, this is kind of the creme, you know, this is the statement piece. It looks kind of like a mil-spec upper on first glance, but as you look closer at it, things start to change a little bit. You start to notice a few things. They made this upper receiver specifically for strength and for suppression. The strength comes from, there's an increased amount of material around the chamber or the ejection port that provides strength towards the front of the rifle, where a lot of the weight comes from a really hot barrel hanging off the end of it, as well as on this side here. You can see all that extra material they left there. Looks really great too, but that adds all kinds of strength on the most important part of your upper receiver, which is the part that is supporting the barrel insert into the upper receiver. I think it's awesome. The weight is nominal at most, so it's not really a problem when it comes to weight. However, it is extremely robust. Very, very, very tough. These are some of the best upper receivers, some of the best, you know, configurations and production systems that BCM has. They do a great job. Speaking of that, what's connected to the upper receiver is the BCM MCMR 10-inch handguard. Super great handguard. I mean, you can only talk so much about handguards. It's great. It's super strong. It holds 0 when it comes to laser aiming modules. I don't have one yet, but I have read many things that state that these are excellent. Has an awesome timed barrel nut clamping system. Looks great. Super lightweight. I'm a huge fan of it. Been a fan of it ever since I got it. Anti-rotation tabs too, which I think is a mandatory thing as well. Moving back again to the upper receiver. So as you look right here, the upper receiver has a smaller, kind of like a miniaturized brass deflector right there, as well as a miniaturized bolt forward assist. The A2 style is way back here, and it's right underneath your charging handle. It's like right up here. They took that and moved it all the way forward. It's still compatible with all mil-spec accessories and parts, so if you wanted to put a different one in there, it would work with GI or mil-spec accessories, mil-spec parts. But what that does is that alleviates a whole lot of space right here for if you wanted to rack the charging handle from the right side. You're not going to slam your finger on the top of that and rip your fingernail out. You have all that room to work your ambi charging handle from the side. I think that's awesome. I think that should have been a thing from the very beginning. BCM noticed it and they made a change, and it's been excellent. The brass deflector being smaller, super awesome. Just nice and tidy. Everything's very tidy. It's very good looking, well made, all machined properly. Very excellent. The star of the show when it comes to the upper receiver is that there is a gas expansion chamber milled into the upper receiver just above the charging handle that allows gases to escape out of the upper receiver in a few channels that are cut off to the side and up above it to deflect gas from shooting back into the shooter's face. Along with a suppressor optimized charging handle like this one. This is my Radian Raptor SD charging handle. Super popular charging handle. A lot of people have them. I love it to death. It's been great. And I have noticed a significant difference between running a more mil-spec upper receiver in style and a mil-spec charging handle rather than this suppressor optimized upper receiver and this suppressor optimized charging handle and a flow-through can. There is, I mean, little to no gas whatsoever coming back in my face. You'll see in some of the slow motion footage I'll put in here, there is so little gas that, especially if you're outside, you'll never have a problem. And even indoors, I have sat there and, I mean, mag dumped this thing, and there's not even enough gas to gas you out inside in stagnant air. So it does a wonderful job. Super happy with it. It does exactly what I want it to do, and it performs exactly as they advertise it, which is kind of rare sometimes. So been a huge fan of the BCM Mark II upper system. And of course I'm running BCM bulk carrier group on the inside, and all, you know, BCM parts and bits and bops, things like that. The lower receiver, this is a ADM UIC LW, that stands for lightweight. Lightweight means basically that these cuts right here go all the way through the receiver. One for lightweight, and theoretically, kind of like Thunder Ranch has it, you could use these as a way to reach in and clear malfunctions up into the chamber of the rifle if you wanted to. I've never had to do that, but you know, I guess if that's a benefit, sure, rock and roll. Some people have issues with skeletonized lower receivers. They think that dirt's going to get in there and whatnot. I guess it could, but if a magazine's in there, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. I think it looks pretty cool. But I just happened to get a really good deal on the lightweight version. That's why I got it. The ADM UIC lower, though, is a fully ambidextrous lower. And I don't just mean like ambidextrous magazine release and ambidextrous safety, or, you know, whatever. Like, it's a fully ambidextrous lower. Bolt catch and release is also ambidextrous. Radian makes a good one. Griffin Armament makes one that is pretty much identical to this one. I know LWRC and a couple of people have fully ambi lowers, or you can do the route of like the bad lever or the phase 5 bolt catch. I forget what they call it, but the phase 5 catch lever. All those are great options. This one just happens to be a very slick, you know, sleek system, and I really like the way that you actuate the ambidextrous catch. So if you come back here, there's a little lever right there by your trigger finger. So whenever you're, you know, done, bang, 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 let's say you're done, you go to the lock back, you take your magazine out, stick it back in. When you stick it back in, push that down, that drops the bolt. It's perfect. Or in my case, what I tend to use it the most for is dry fire. It's a lot easier to just sit here and do this, practice, you know, reloads and dry fire and all this stuff by being able to catch it with this lever than if you had to sit there and do this and catch that way and, you know, switch hands and all this stuff. It's just a really easy system. Works really well, super smooth, like anti-snag, if you want to call it that. It's very low profile. It's been awesome. I think every lower, I think any rifle, any new, you know, designed AR-15 nowadays, I think it should be ambidextrous. I just think that's just the way of the future. Let's just do it. Like ABS in cars or airbags, like just put it in there, please. You know, like with handguns, it should be 3 magazines. Like at what point, when are we gonna get 3 magazines with a handgun? Anyway, I'm gonna go on a tangent, but that is the lower. Super awesome. It has a flared magwell from factory as well, which is pretty great. Not, you know, super extensive, but it's flared enough to help out a little bit. Machine well. ADM, American Defense Manufacturing, makes awesome stuff. Highly reputable company. It's been great. I have some anti-takedown pins on there, or sorry, excuse me, anti-rotation trigger pins on the side. You can see there. I believe those are by Strike Industries, and then I have the Radian Talon ambidextrous safety set to a 45. That's how I like it. And then on the bottom, this is a regular defense Special K grip. I'm kind of a grip whore. I have like 9 pistol grips. I just can't find one that I really like, and this one seems to be the closest I can find to one that fits and feels perfectly in my hand. It is thicker from the back of the tang to the front here, which kind of increases my length of pull. I have larger hands, so when I do that, that allows me to rest my finger just perfectly on the trigger, versus some of the other ones like the BCM factory one or the standard Magpul K2 or the B5. My finger, it goes really far. I end up crowing around there when I get a full grip, so I kind of have to modify my grip to have my finger in the right spot, comfortable spot, and I don't really want to do that. And so this one so far is the one I can find that has a decent vertical angle without being too vertical or too slanted, and it has a good length of pull for my larger hands. So been a big fan of this. A little expensive for what they are in my opinion, but it's the same material as the hand grip, and it's been very I've been happy with it. The texture, I will say, is extremely aggressive, and even some of the guys at the gun shop I go to said that it might be a little too aggressive for them. But regardless, I mean, I'd rather have it more aggressive and than not aggressive enough, I suppose. So moving back to the calcium nut and everything, and my back plate, just the BCM standard calcium nut and back plate with a QD on it. The other kind of, suppressor optimized or flat shooting optimized option on this rifle is the BCM recoil mitigation buffer system. Basically what this is a BCM branded version of the Veltor A5 system, which is a longer rifle length buffer tube with a larger buffer weight. It does increase the length by about, roughly about an inch or so, but having that larger buffer weight with a longer spring and longer tube in general allows this thing to be extremely flat shooting. Again, you'll see it in some B-roll. Just really flat shooting, very comfortable, balanced, a very predictable system when it comes to recoil, and I've really been appreciating it. I've been loving it. It takes standard stocks and whatnot, but it does increase the length by about an inch. On the stock, in regards to the stock, I have the Magpul. I think this is the Magpul DT. It's the new stock that Magpul just came out with. This is supposed to replace the CTR, I believe, which is the one that has the tension lever here in the front. So after you push it and adjust it, it clicks, and then you kind of click up that other piece that puts tension on to keep it from shaking. This one supposedly does both, and apparently, I mean, it's been pretty good. It has a little bit of shake to it, but it's not bad. It really, I mean, most of that shake is from the upper and lower receiver. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, it's like a tiny little bit of rotation, but overall, great tension, great retention on the buffer tube. Been really happy with it. Of course, it has that slightly angled back plate there, which is a nice, cradle into your shoulder. When they're too flat, they kind of tend to ride up on me, and if they're too angled, they tend to slide down, or excuse me, the other way around. And this one is nice shape. I really enjoy it. Has a QD built into it. Has sling swivel or sling slot there to tie that through. And then I have the irregular defense. Let's see if we can get that. There you go. Another irregular defense product. This is their cheek riser. So because I have these tall optics, you need something a little bit taller to get a nice cheek well while you're looking with a heads up kind of shooting position. Some people think they're useless. Maybe they are. I enjoy it. I think it's comfortable, and so I bought it, and I have it, and I like it, and I'm going to keep it. I don't care. A lot of people, I've had people tell me it's kind of try-hardy, but I mean, whatever. At the end of the day, it's your money. Do what you want. The final, components of this rifle are the trigger and the optic system. So real quick, I'll go over the optics. This is the Trijicon MRO HD and the Trijicon 3X magnifier. So a paired system by brand and a paired system by risers. These are both Unity fast risers, or excuse me, fast riser for the optic, and then the Unity Omni mount for the magnifier, which is FTC, which is flip to center. These are awesome. They are super strong, very lightweight, not super cheap, but super durable. I mean, they're the best. The optic is at a 2.26 height over bore, and I've been really enjoying it. The FTC, especially the flip to center mount for the magnifier, is incredible. You can see there, it just tucks underneath the red dot just a little bit, and it occludes your vision just a tiny bit. But I mean, when you're shooting, you really notice. You don't notice at all. and then when you flip it up, it's to the center, which is excellent. So nice integration to the red dot from the magnifier, and when you flip it out, it's right out of the way. It's not hanging off the side. It's not, you know, kind of causing an unbalance in the gun. It's an excellent way to operate a magnifier for sure. And I also have ADM QDs on here as well to kind of take those off a little bit faster and more conveniently. The MRO HD, there are some guys that gripe about the MRO HD. They say that it is or excuse me, the MRO. There are some folks I've seen that hate the MRO, and the MRO, the original version, was not that great. It had some really bad parallax distortion. Battery life was not good. In general, not a great optic. It was very durable, but just not a whole lot of features for what you're paying. And when it comes to the MRO HD, it's a totally different optic in my opinion. The glass clarity is insane. There's, I mean, so little distortion. I mean, it's you know, beautiful quality glass, well coated. The battery life is much better. This one is a multi-reticle system, like a lot of Holosuns. It has the dot, and then it has the dot with the crosshair, or the, you know, larger, more EOTech style reticle. The way that they do the illumination settings is really genius as well. They have it set to where there's 3 different off positions on the turret, so you can either have the off button for full power reticle or full power night vision setting. You can have an off setting in between full power reticle and full power reticle dot versus full power reticle EOTech style, or you can have an off setting between night vision for the single dot as well. So super awesome. You don't have to sit there and turn through 10 different adjustments. All you got to do is turn it once and you're on full power for whichever reticle you decide to go with. And so it's a great system. It's been working really well, and you'll see some b-roll of how clear the reticle is. Been really enjoying it, as well as the magnifier. I tried the EOTech 3x magnifier. I tried their 5x magnifier. They were very robust but expensive. The eye relief was not good, really bad, especially with the 5x, and they were very heavy, extremely heavy. And so I was looking for another 3x magnifier that could give me better eye relief. The Holosun one is really good, actually. The eye relief is really great. However, it doesn't mount up. It doesn't have the same mounting system as a lot of them, and so it's hard to find mounts, especially if you want to run this, you know, type of riser. So the Holosun was out, and I happened to find the Triticom one, which is kind of like a sleeper. Not many people consider it, but man, I mean, it's been excellent. Super durable, clear glass, great magnification. It's been great. It has its own diopter and everything as well, so it's been absolutely stunning for me. But anyway, guys, that is kind of a quick breakdown of my GP rifle. I hope you guys enjoyed me kind of going over everything. If you have any questions about any other parts on the rifle in regards to optics, flashlights, whatever, just let me know in the comments, and I'm going to try and make a dedicated video for that. If you guys wouldn't mind giving me a like and a subscribe, you want to share this with your friends, that would be super helpful. I'm looking forward to making more videos, getting more content out there, and you know, starting to build something here. Thanks for showing up and enjoying this with me, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.